Welcome to Kim Talks Resilience, where we share stories of insight and inspiration in life, love, and business with resilient women from around the world. Speaking with authors, entrepreneurs, founders, and coaches to learn their strategies for a more resilient life so we can all build the life we love. I'm your host, Kim Hayden. I will tell you this next guest, who seems to be pretty savvy in many different verticals. I didn't know which podcast to put her on first because she is so proficient in so many different things. I feel that she has benefit to every audience that I could reach. Bonnie Mauldin is indeed a prodigy. She gained a full academic scholarship to Wayne State University. She is now a successful author, professional speaker, entrepreneur, investor, and television producer. She is also one of the top marketing consultants in my favorite city down south, Atlanta. She recently authored Harmonic Messaging, a business book that helps build budding entrepreneurs, established business owners, and corporations reach their sales and marketing goals. Bonnie has also created two workshops that focus on helping individual corporations and businesses with their business goals. Bonnie's podcast, From the Bottom to the Top, provides listeners with the tools to bring their business successes by using proven sales, marketing, and productivity tactics to their advantage. She recently developed a mobile app game, the Fast Dot Game, which helps young children and seniors improve cognitive function. Bonnie's company is a certified woman owned and minority owned business by the SBA and NAWBO. And I am like I said, where do you pick? Like, which podcast do you put this amazing woman on? Because I think she could talk on anything and everything. Welcome to the show, Bonnie.
Hello, welcome. Thank you.
This is so cool. You and I circle many verticals, but you're very much on the technical side of things. And we're gonna dive in deep because I'm facing one of my biggest hurdles right now. And
Mhm.
so I'm going to be asking a lot of questions because I'm moving platforms.
Oh boy.
And I'm nervous. I'm nervous, folks. I'm telling you, because
Okay.
I am tech taught, not tech intuitive, and there's differences. And you sound as if you're very tech intuitive. So I'm going to be leaning in and asking a lot of questions today. Before we do that, I would love for you to share a little bit of who is Bonnie.
Yes, thank you so much for having me on the show. This is so exciting to engage with your audience. So, my name is, again, Bonnie Mauldin, founder and CEO of the Mauldin Group. We're a professional web design and digital marketing agency out of a small suburb above Atlanta called Roswell. And I had a career that started in medicine and morphed its way to marketing because that's truly what I always wanted to do, be an entrepreneur. On my way to becoming an entrepreneur, I learned about digital marketing from Google and Facebook when they first came out in the early 2000s. I was an early adopter and just really saw that the internet was the future and wanted to learn all about it. And so the Mauldin Group currently helps small to mid-sized companies with their marketing and serves as their marketing department through website design, social media, and reputation management. We do all the blogs and newsletters. But about me personally, I just have a deep passion about books and reading. I have a personal model to help foster a nation of readers, leaders, and experts because I've always enjoyed educational content on television. And so now I've set out to create educational content through television shows, through ebooks, and through apps. So that's where I'm at right now.
Readers, pardon me, folks. Readers, leaders, and experts. I love that. I love that. And medicine and marketing, don't they both work in the creative side of the brain? They both work in the same hemisphere, correct?
Absolutely.
Okay. Like I said, I'm not in medicine, folks. Someday maybe I'll play a doctor on TV, but until then, Until then, I have to learn from amazing individuals like yourself. Before we dive into everything that you do, I do want to ask one question. AI, yay, nay? What are you loving about it?
Well, AI can take all of the data that we've put on the internet and that the data, all of the data that we've given it, and can quickly disseminate it faster than a human can. So this is going to create some awesome inroads in things like cancer research, cancer diagnosis, um, all types of business operations, and it's going to displace a lot of businesses, but it's going to create a lot of businesses as well to take its place. So we're in a transitionary period as it pertains to AI. It's a great thing, and just like the internet, it can lend itself to great progressive things, and it can lend itself to terrible catastrophic things like if AI gets in the hands of warmongers, for example, then we have a problem because they're going to use it
Yep.
to do some destructive things. But if we put it in the hands of scientists that are looking to cure terrible diseases, then it's going to help a lot of people. So we're going to get the best and worst of it.
I completely agree. God love human nature, man. Human nature. we, the best and the worst of us every day. So let's go a little
Absolutely.
bit into what you're doing because there's so much that we
Mhm.
can talk about. Your app that you've developed,
Yeah.
which is very cool because we do have, especially since COVID, we have a lot of people struggling with cognitive, sequential, brain fog, all these other things.
Mhm.
And some of them is very premature, people in their 50s. And so that's very cool. But I want to literally turn this over and I want you to share what you want to share because I think I need about 3 hours to literally unpack everything you're working
Yeah,
on.
so we got to do this in stages, segments, episodes. Okay, so my 12-year-old is actually the one who came up with the mobile app game. It's called Fast Dot. It's available on Apple and Google, and it is an amazing gaming app with these cute little dots that go across the screen. I like that, and you have to hit the dots before they leave the screen. And my 12-year-old came up with it in January of 2023, and he's like, "Mom, look at this game I made." I was like, "Oh my God, bud, this is so cool." And I said, "Let's make it. Let's put it out to the public. They're going to love it." And so we just published it a couple of weeks ago, and we're getting little kids sending us videos of themselves playing and beating the levels. And it's just so much fun and so cool. So super proud of my son for that. And I got him some coding classes a few years back, and now it's paying off wonderfully.
Awesome. From the mouth of babes, man, our kids, they keep us honest and keep us focused and keeps us moving forward. That's cool. Your 12-year-old did that.
He did. He
I
did.
couldn't program anything. Uh,
It's hard. It's not
wow.
easy. It's not easy stuff. He's learning Python coding language now, which is incredible. But on the other side, I'm working on another app called So Simple, and the story behind this is very interesting. So a few years back, I decided to start investing in commercial real estate because I wanted to have a portfolio of passive income to start building up a few commercial doors. So I decided to go into renting office condos because that's what I always rented when I needed space for my small business were office condos. And so my lease was up at my office condo, and I said, why rent again? Let's go ahead and purchase a property. So I purchased the property that I'm in now, and then I started purchasing more and more year after year. And so in my quest to find a software program to help manage the utilities, the association dues, the taxes, the mortgage, and the various repair expenses and utilities, I could not find anything that was cost efficient or super easy to use. Everything was super complicated and super expensive. I'm like, wait a minute. I don't need all this. I started to just create an Excel sheet, a very advanced Excel sheet with all this information for each property, because I'm trying to, save. I wanted to get the maximum return out of the properties. And then it dawned on me, why don't I just create my own software, something that's easy to use and super inexpensive, so landlords can actually use it and make money off the property and not lose money trying to pay for all this software. So Simple was born. It's in development right now. I have nothing to show you right now but a homepage if you care to see it. But it is everything I wanted my Excel sheet to be. It has utilities, association dues, mortgage, repair costs, all of the expenses related to the property. It allows you to upload photos of the property so you can have that on record for marketing purposes. And also it allows the tenant to pay their rent and have a record of payment and to see their lease and the renewal of the lease. So this is so cool. I'm super excited.
Well, and then does it allow, because I know in some states, I think across the United States, you're allowed to, if a tenant's paying on time, it actually can contribute to their credit score. Is there an opportunity for this program to be able to offer that also? Or because I think you have to plug it in and pay the housing solution or the property solution provider has to pay to access that. But will that be an option within your program, you believe?
Not as it stands right now, but however, it may be something we can add in the future.
Everything's fluid, folks. Everything's fluid. Okay. I want to move back into your marketing and such. Let's talk entrepreneurs. Let's see here. It says good. He's like, good. He must be happy that you got something coming out. You're creating a solution. Women are amazing at this. Women create solutions, right?
Resourcefulness.
Absolutely. Let's go into marketing. There's a lot of people right now that are not going back to work. They are coming from the corporate world, which operates incredibly differently from the here's a good question. Okay. It says, I have a question. I am a digital marketer having more than 3 years. How can I get jobs? And so this is going right where I wanted to go, is entrepreneurs who are creating online businesses. How do they get jobs?
Yeah, so your job, there's two different things. There's jobs and starting a business. So if you want to get a job, you have to amplify your excellence and really show how the previous jobs and the previous things you've done in the past, how it's going to help you fulfill the needs of the company that you're trying to work for. So you have to customize your resume to the job position that you're trying to get and show how your work experience is in alignment with the needs of that job description. So that requires a little bit more work than you're probably wanting to do, but it really makes a significant impact on how much salary you can command and how quickly you get a call back for that interview.
A lot of entrepreneurs are facing cybersecurity issues right now, and they're going after the independents, the smaller people, right?
Right.
What do you do in your practice in order to secure your company? Is there, any set practices for your entrepreneurs or for your clients that you help them through?
Absolutely. So, as I said earlier, you need to amplify your excellence, and my excellence is in sales, marketing, and branding and digital marketing. It's not necessarily cybersecurity. So I defer to the experts. I have hired an IT company to oversee my emails, to oversee my company computers. So if someone has a problem with their laptop, they can call into their customer service queue and have a live technician port into their computer and fix it right then and there. So I would recommend that small business owners really align themselves with an IT firm that specializes in small business, or at least have an IT person on staff that can help with phishing scams and ransomware and malware and all the crazy things these scammers are doing to get at us.
Oh yeah, it's crazy. I get the number of people I personally know that their accounts have been hacked because I get this, "Oh, is this you?"
Mhm.
Right? Email from there's no reason they would ever send this to me. So I know they've been hacked. I will give one tip that I got from a cybersecurity individual is go in, change all your passwords to past sentences. Past
Oh,
sentences are
I
much harder to crack.
yeah.
That's what we're actually doing. So I want to dive in to your zone of genius. That's that marketing. That's that entrepreneur. I want to unpack this a little bit on around the space of if you're doing local or if you're doing online. There's two, and it's two totally different approaches.
Mhm.
So let's go local because if you that's the low hanging fruit for most of us. How do we get within our local markets and how do we make our marketing messages resonate?
Yeah, great question. Local is very powerful. You can create a name for yourself more quickly there, and you can have a lasting impact on your community. I would start with making sure you do have a website. That sounds crazy, and I'm talking about local and a website, but it's like an online brochure. It's a place where people go to look you up after they meet you in person. Make sure you're attending the networking events for the business associations and the trade associations that are relevant to what you do in your industry. And make sure you're going to something at least once a week to get your name out there and to get
Yep.
your face out there. And when you meet people, connect with them on the social media channels like LinkedIn and Facebook, and make sure you put them on your mailing list for a little postcard once a month or an e-newsletter once a month so they can stay in touch with you and keep you top of mind when the services are required or needed. Also, it makes it easier for people that you meet to refer you when you're constantly in front of them on a regular basis. And then next, I would say get involved with all of the different things that require sponsorship. Make sure your logo is big and front and center on the team baseball games and the parades and the 5K races and all of the fun activities going on in your community. Make sure you're a part of it as a volunteer and also as a sponsor so your logo can be repeatedly seen throughout the community. And if you do things like this with the networking and with the constant outreach through sponsorship and network and organizations that are relevant, you're going to have a strong local presence and people are going to be fighting to get to you in no time.
So it's creating a bit of a micro celebrity.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's create a micro celebrity. Now, here's my question. How do you parlay all that work and effort? Because it does take work and effort. I myself will spend probably close to 10 hours this week alone in networking, luncheons, coffee dates, because conversations do lead to contracts. So, that's at the end of the day, you have to be out there. People want to know you, like you, and trust you. These are old school, right? The AI can come along, anything can come along. The end of the day, what is that? Emotions by logic justifies. So if you have the logic side of it, their emotion of connection of inner. So I want to know because this is where I struggle is
Mhm.
building that online audience. And this is a huge hang up for a lot of coaches, a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of new authors and such. How do we take, so if we've done really good in our local, how do we take that content, that effort, and parlay that into building an online audience?
Yeah. So if all the people that you meet locally, you're doing the one-on-one coffee dates, you're doing the networking events, you're doing the sponsorships, and you're volunteering. Make sure that you collect the email address and address and phone number of all these people, and you're making sure you're connecting with these people on social media, and you're asking these people to follow your social media pages. So that's how you get a base level of followers to begin with. And then once you start posting really great and entertaining, engaging, and educational content as it relates to your business, then those people are going to start sharing that content out to their friends and family. And then you have another layer of followers coming on board. And then once you get a good cash flow in your business, you can start doing some paid advertising to start getting your reach further and wider to those social media contacts that are similar to the people who are already following you. And then there's a snowball effect that happens there, because the better your content becomes, the more shareable it is, and the more it's shared, and the more new people can find you and find out about you and buy from you. So it is a staged approach. It doesn't happen overnight. It happens after consistent, ongoing production of this wonderful content. And think of your social media channels like a television station or a magazine. You have to constantly have content for it. And if you don't want to do it yourself, please hire someone to do it for you. It is very important, and it's a utility to business. It's something you have to have.
Okay, so let's break this down into a very almost dumb question. Okay, I admit it, folks. I am not the best when it comes to social media. What is the difference between a social media manager and a marketing manager and a PR? Like, there's all these different things, and I know that most people who are entrepreneurs kind of need all three. Where does one job start and the next job stop, right? Or how does that sequence work? And then we're going to follow that up with the one question people should ask or engage with a marketing team. I think a lot of breakdowns are caused because of communication, not knowing the right questions. So, what is the difference between the three? Who do we bring on first? And how do we better engage?
Yeah, all great questions. So, marketing as a whole is like a tree with many different branches. And when you have that branch of PR, that's public relations. That has to do with getting your name out there in the media, being on TV, on radios, on podcasts like this one, and uh, making sure that your name is being mentioned from free, unpaid media that people engage with all the time. So that's done by sending out press releases, sending out requests to be featured, and a public relations specialist can help you with that. And then you have another branch, and that would be advertising on with digital marketing, and that has to do with your website, your social media, your your online reputation on different business listings where you can get 5-star reviews, and other various websites that's related to your business. You want to have a presence there and consistent content going on these online venues. And then you have general advertising or traditional advertising, and that's where you have your postcards that go out in the mail, maybe a magazine ad that's relevant to your audience, or a television advertising commercial that goes on a local station, or a radio spot that is listened to in the car or maybe on Spotify. So you want to make sure traditional advertising is covered as well, if you can afford that. It can be expensive, but something that you can do. Also, another form of marketing is affiliate marketing, where you are connecting with other people who make a commission off of selling your services. And then you can have joint venture marketing, where you partner with someone and together you promote each other's services, and you each benefit from the promotion of that service. So many just different branches of that marketing tree. So you want to make sure all the branches are covered, or at least a few of them, and you'll be in a good space getting your word out there, getting your name out there so people know who you are and what you do.
And because this is so complex and most entrepreneurs are working within their zone of genius, you don't need to know everything around marketing, but what are some of the missed questions, the things that could have been asked from an entrepreneur's perspective to a marketing specialist that would avoid some of the stumbling blocks or that communication gap? What are some of the things that they should be asking right from the beginning?
Yeah, so a good question to ask would be, Have you done this before with someone like me, someone in my industry? And that's an interview question where you're interviewing your marketing specialist to see if they know what they're talking about and if they have any case studies or examples of success with someone like you. Otherwise, guess what? You're the first person that they've tried this on. So you want to
Yep.
work with someone with some level of experience and has a track record of success. And guess what? You want to call those references, just like when you're going for a job interview, they call your references. As an entrepreneur, you want to call the references of the clients, of the people that has been impacted by this person that you're considering working with. And then next, the question that most entrepreneurs miss is, what are my KPIs, my key performance indicators? How do I know that this marketing plan is working? How do I know I'm getting a return on my investment? How do I know that the money I'm spending, I'm getting back? And some of the KPIs when it comes to a marketing firm would be how much traffic am I getting to my website? Is that number increasing, decreasing, or staying the same? How many followers do I have on my social media pages? Is that number increasing? How many leads am I getting? Am I getting people filling out the form on my website, requesting a consultation, a proposal, an evaluation, a demo, or a free ebook or subscription to a newsletter, for example? How many leads am I getting? How many fresh faces are seeing my content for the first time and actually signing up for something? How many phone calls did I get? And all these things can be tracked when it comes to a digital marketing campaign, because there are those special little analytics code that can be put on your website, and tracking phone numbers that can be applied to help you record those phone calls. And you can see those numbers as they change month by month if you're seeing the good KPIs come into play.
I want to dive into your workshops because, and like I said, there's so much to unpack here, but I believe your workshops tie directly into this conversation. And then we're going to move forward. We're going to be diving into your book here in just a few moments.
Mhm.
But how do your workshops tie into your business model and your service to everybody? And what can people expect from them?
Well, I served on the board of directors for my local chamber of commerce, which is our business support organization. And I've seen so many people open their doors with a fresh new business. We have a ribbon cutting and we celebrate, and all to find out 2 years later that the business closed down. And I just got tired of seeing people coming in and out, having dismal success with their businesses. So I came up with this workshop, and I wrote a book called Harmonic Messaging. And it's a book about bringing together all the things you need to be successful in business and having all of the messaging harmonized together, very much like an orchestra or a band or choir. And so the workshops came about from me seeing this success be so limited to so many businesses. They just don't have what it takes to make it past year two. So came up with all of the success elements to be successful in business, like finance, human resources, customer service, operations, um, marketing, branding, sales. And I came up with a training to create an action plan around these different elements of business. And so I'm going to start working to promote a workshop where business owners can come, and we call it a small business boot camp, where you're literally coming and you're getting that hard hitting knowledge and action plan around these different success areas of business: networking, finance, human resources, customer service, customer experience, sales, marketing, all these different things that come together and work harmoniously together to create that success.
I just want to come to Atlanta and just like have you guide me. You are incredible because I think what's unique about how you're approaching everything is because you have that scientific mindset.
Mhm.
You pull apart the ingredients and you test over and over and over again, like how to get the result that you're looking for. You know that these ingredients can bring this result, but there has to be a system or a sequence within that. And I think it's very much around that medical and science mindset that you have. It's me. I'm like, I'm ADHD. I'm out there chasing squirrels, right? And it's like, I'm very, very blessed to be where I'm at in business. But the amount of business I could have if I had a more systematic mindset, like what you go through, you create the structures and systems in place, so it's rinse and repeat. You can do it again.
Yeah, and
And
there's advantages to having ADHD and trying different things and having that outgoing mindset to just try and do. And what I do is amplify your
yeah,
excellence. You just got to fill the gaps. Whatever you don't have, you bring someone else in to fill that gap for you, so you can have a more complete organization and systematic way of doing things. But everyone has something special to offer. Everyone has their own unique excellence. And once you tap into that, whatever it is that you're missing, you find someone else, you hire someone else, and you partner with them to bring a whole harmonic situation in play.
absolutely. Build your team, folks. Build your bench. Nobody goes to market. When we look at these companies that we call unicorns or companies that go public, they don't announce until they have their bench in place. They know who their cybersecurity person is. They know who their marketing person is. They know who their PR person. They've got all these roles in play. And you know what? If we took, I think even those of us who are at not at the going public level, but if everybody took that approach and treated their business and their ideas and their talent at that level,
Mhm.
I think they'd all go a little bit further. I think everybody would go a little bit further or go a little bit smoother.
I think so.
Um, what have I not asked? Because we have touched on, and I've got to go through this, guys. Work with me here. We have touched on the tech. So we've got So Simple, which is a commercial application that will be coming out to help individual landlords manage their own property. Is that correct?
Yes.
Awesome. We have, and I love the the dots, fast dots that your son put together. That is so cool. So we've talked that. Um, Small business boot camp. We're
Mhm.
gonna come to the socials in just a moment, folks, so hold tight. We're gonna get all of Bonnie's socials, and we're gonna make sure that all this information, because the small business boot camp is a really great idea. Um, then we have the workshops, so with small business boot camp, let's move back around into your service. Are you accepting new clients now for your marketing service, or can you do that remotely also for people? Do you take people outside of Atlanta?
Absolutely. We have clients all over the world. And
Oh, awesome.
yeah,
Awesome.
yes.
Awesome. Um, so I before we dive into your book, because authorship is not an easy journey. Everybody, and it's funny, I want everybody to think about this. If you're saying everybody's a leader, that's because you have stepped into the leadership mantle in that leadership space and you're seeing leaders around you. What's that? There is actually a term, it's a German term for when we buy a car, we only see that car on the road. When
Mhm.
you write a book, you only know authors. Everybody's an author, but the reality is authorship is less than just around 5% of North American adults, and it's less than 3% in the rest of the world. So the
Wow.
reality is it's a very, very special space to be in. But before we dive into that, I would love for you to share whatever you're comfortable with, a moment of resiliency that you had to dig deep. And without that moment, you would not be having this conversation today because success leaves clues.
Mhm.
Everybody has a hard day, and everybody's sitting here watching everything you do from app development to writing books, and somebody is going to say, well, yeah, but it's easy for her, or she's smarter than I am, or she has an education that I do not have. But the reality is we're all the same. We all put our pants on one leg at a time.
Mhm.
And, that's what I'd love for you to share is that moment, whatever works for you, Bonnie, whatever you're open to sharing.
Yeah, we all have our unique challenges that we go through. No one feels like they have it super easy, no matter how easy it looks on the surface. So for me, my big challenge was breast cancer. I was diagnosed with breast cancer right when COVID hit, and I had to go right into treatment. And it was very, very tough. We're talking chemo, we're talking radiation, we're talking surgery. And I'm proud to say now that I'm cancer free. And I'm so happy and grateful that God gave me the grace to get through all that. But some of the things that I had to do as a business owner to prepare for this journey was, make sure I shored up everything with my business so it can continue to sustain my lifestyle, my family, and for all of my staff as well. So I had to put the right team in place, the right people in place to fill those gaps that I was talking about earlier. And I also had to make sure all of my affairs personally were in order, making sure I had an estate plan, which is what you use to give directives if something were to happen to you, what happens to your property, what happens to your business, what happens to your children, what happens to your care as you are in the hospital or rehabilitation center or nursing home, whatever it is. So you have to kind of plan for your demise, which is kind of morbid, but it's something that all business owners should do, but don't do. Even no matter how young you are, you should have some type of plan in place and insurance in place to cover you if you were to miss your paycheck or if something were to happen to you. So that is an area of resiliency that I had to overcome. And I'm a better, stronger person for it because I have a deeper appreciation of life. I have a higher level of gratitude for each day. I have tremendous mindfulness in everything I do, whether it's walking in a cool breeze goes through my hair, or whether I'm taking a nice hot bath, or I'm sitting with a cup of coffee with a friend. I enjoy those moments so much more deeply now that I've gone through this tremendous process and almost lost my life to cancer. So, making sure as a business owner you're taking care of your body, going in for your annual exams, not ignoring the pains, the headaches, the fatigue, the weird things that you're feeling. You want to go to the doctor and check all that out immediately. Do not delay because survival is in early detection for a lot of these things. The earlier they can get to it to treat it, the better.
And you're quite young to have gone through that,
Yeah, I
right?
was in my 30s.
Yeah, I just actually interviewed a woman who 32, breast cancer,
Hmm.
really, like, took 5 years of chemo and everything, and she had a 2-year-old or a very young child, so, she talked about how it's a very different thing for somebody in their 30s than somebody who's in their 50s,
Yeah,
right?
they have a different designation for you as a cancer patient when you're younger like that. And when cancer runs in your family, I'm going to advocate for people in their 20s and 30s to get mammograms specifically earlier than the 40-year mark here in America. They recommend mammograms at 40 and older, but I think you should start getting it in your 20s and 30s if it runs in your family.
Absolutely. There is and you know what? I just came across there's an incubator. I love how we have these tech incubators in every city, and they allow these, incredible spaces for growth for young people like your son, like yourself, who are developing solutions, right? And I love going to the pitches. I'm this weirdo sitting in the back, and I love listening to all their pitches because they're so succinct. And just saw a pitch for a company that has developed a mobile mammogram product that can actually go out to underserved areas, and it's all software based.
Oh wow, that's
It's
incredible.
very cool. So I just saw that 2 weeks ago. Super cool stuff. I'm grateful that you shared that because a lot of people who go through cancer or go through, we have so many people that every day there's a challenge, and we all think we're the only ones. We're not. You're not. I promise you. You are not the only one. We're here. We're all here.
Mhm.
Um, let's dive into your book. How long did it take you to write your book? Did you write it with AI? Did ChatGPT write your book?
No,
Come on.
that's so funny. ChatGPT was not available during this time. I wish it was, but I enjoy writing. It's cathartic for me, and so I don't think I would use AI to write a book. But uh, harmonic messaging comes from my love of music and my love of business. And so when I was a youngster, I played clarinet, tenor saxophone, piano, and bass clarinet. And I just love classical music. I love jazz. I love just the sound, and I enjoy the way music makes me feel, and I think it's healing. And I noticed when I was in business, how I was saying all the different parts: human resources, finance, customer service, sales, marketing, all the different areas. Very much in a band, you have different areas like percussion and brass and woodwinds, and you have your conductor in the front. You have strings, all these different parts of the band, and they take out their music and they play their individual parts, and they all come together and for one particular song. And just like in business, everybody needs to be on the same page with the messaging, on the same page with the customer service, and with the same attitude to accomplish the same mission of the company. And just like the maestro's in the front directing the band, the CEO or the owner is in the front directing the team. And harmonic messaging is how that correlation should happen to result in some amazing success for the organization.
This is going to be a silly question. How important is a mission statement?
Super important because it's like your GPS. It tells you where you're going and why you're doing it. And you know, most employees cannot state the mission statement for the company that they work for, and that's the fault of the CEO. It's their responsibility to share that mission statement repeatedly with the team so they'll know how, why, and what they're there for.
As I said before, there is so much, and Bonnie, I'm going to have you back, and I'm going to have you back on the real estate show. I'm going to have you back. We have another show called Rising Tides, and it's all on marketing that I co-host with another gal here. Um, because there's so much here to unpack. You must keep everybody around you super busy because I have a feeling that you are able to literally have 12 different initiatives going on at the same time in your head, and you need all those spokes, all those people around you to make sure that everything gets activated.
That's exactly right. And I keep like a little notebook with me, and I just write all my ideas in this. And then once I have an idea, then I email the person that's responsible for executing that idea. Otherwise, it wouldn't get done. It'll just stay in my head.
I understand. I truly do. What have I missed? What is one thing that you really want to share with people? And what have I missed? Because, like I said, folks, I was reading through Bonnie's resume and I'm good. I had her originally on my real estate show because she has a real estate aspect to what she's providing. But
Mhm.
the more I dug, the more I realized I really wanted to start this journey out here at the Kim Talk show. But what have I missed? What would you like to share today before we dive into your socials?
Yeah. So one thing we talked about earlier was motivational quotes, and I'm working on a book called Inner Cheerleader, and that won't be out for a while now. But it's basically, we have all these mean girl thoughts in our head that like beat us up, and we need to have a way to combat that. So I spent a small amount of time as a cheerleader when I was in high school. So I dropped cheerleading for band, and then that's why I'm talking about harmonic messaging. But when I go back to cheerleading, we did all these cheers, and in my own head, I give myself cheers when I'm feeling bad, and I thought that would be a cool thing to share with the world. These cheers that you can say to yourself when you're feeling really gross and terrible and discouraged. So inner cheerleader is something that I really am passionate about and excited about working on. But one of the things I do to have these inner cheers is I read motivational quotes, and I save them and I keep them and I remember them. And one motivational quote that's I'd like to share with you today is from Walt Disney. And he says, "All our dreams come true if we can have the courage to pursue them."
Absolutely, absolutely. And Walt Disney, in himself is an inspiration. This is a man who could have just shut down shop in Kansas City when
Mhm.
things got really tough, and instead he chose to, even after he lost all the rights to his first works. Can you imagine
Oh
losing
my
a piece
gosh.
of yourself like that? Literally, court ruled against him, and the company kept it all,
I
and he
mean,
still.
he went for broke on a lot of those early movies like Snow White. If it didn't make it, there would be no Disney World, no Walt Disney.
Yep,
Uh, he,
exactly.
he put all chips on the table on a lot of his films, and they were successful. And thankfully, we have so many Disney movies and ventures to enjoy to this day. So I love Walt Disney, and his story is so encouraging and inspiring. He's given so many motivational quotes like the one I just said. But yeah, fast.game.com is where you find that. So Simple is the app that's going to be for landlords to manage their own properties in an affordable way. My marketing company is called the Mauldin Group. You can learn all about my ventures and adventures at bonniemauldin.com, just my name. And you can sign up for an e-newsletter that I send out once a month with business and marketing tips.
Amazing. Amazing. And get ready, folks, for those workshops. We are coming up to Q2. I am going to guesstimate that those workshops will probably be ready for us to really close out our Q4 solid.
Mm-hmm.
The world is in turmoil. You do not need to be in turmoil. You can reach out and build your bench, build your team, get the people like Bonnie behind you. And just remember, there is equity opportunities everywhere. These come from the people you surround yourself, the tools that you lean into, and knowing your value,
Mm-hmm.
knowing your mission statement, know your arm yourself, folks, because nobody's going to come to save you. Nobody's coming to save you. You gotta do it yourself, but there's a lot of people out there who will root for you. Alrighty. Bonnie, again, I am so incredibly grateful for your time today. You are a wealth of information and an incredible person to have in one's corner. I appreciate that.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me on, Kim.
Absolutely. Okay, folks, hold tight. I'm going to bring up my closing. I absolutely love these little videos we put together for you. And until next time, be good to yourself. Thank you for joining us here today at Kim Talks Resilience. I'm your host, Kim Hayden, and I'd love to invite you to our resilient community at resilientgift.com. That's resilientgift.com, and we'll send you our magazine and tickets for upcoming events and all sorts of cool things we do here. So be sure to keep watching, and you know what? Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and share, because we all know that sharing is caring.